than just one. However, not everyone is a millennial. I, for example, is definitely not a millennial, as you could probably see. I still prefer to call in when I need some help. Just yesterday, I was flying back from Buffalo after seeing Kansas City trounce the Bills a little bit, and I had to change my flights on American Airlines. And the chat button on American Airlines, those people just can't really get anything done. So I had to eventually call up the desk, and they were able to move my flights pretty easily. So it always helps. So voice piece, the point I'm trying to make is, while there's a lot of discussion on using multi-channel contact centers and customer experience applications, voice still plays a major role in any customer experience interaction, whether it's a big contact center like an airlines or a small call center situation where you're just setting up appointments to your dentist. Voice applications are really important. So for that, what we have been doing is we've been trying to make sure that our UCaaS and CCaaS solutions work together better. And when I say UCaaS, it's mostly about WebEx calling, WebEx meetings, messaging, and CCaaS, obviously, we know it's contact center, WebEx Contact Center Enterprise, right? Those two solutions need to work better so that people who are leveraging different applications for their day-to-day work can still interact with one another, can interact with the end customers when needed, and be able to provide the right type of service that they need to provide to their customers. Any agent should be able to deal with any call. Any person should be able to become an agent when needed, right? Now, as Jim mentioned, where does customers experience essential falls in? We have contact center solutions like we have talked about before, right? And we have group call management, which we are kind of now calling WebEx Customer Experience Basic. So on the left-hand side, when you say Customer Experience Basic, voice only call center type situation. Previously, we called it group call management. Now we are bringing it under the umbrella of customer experience, and we're calling it WebEx Customer Experience Basic. It has the same functionality that it had before. It's still included with the WebEx Suite license or WebEx calling license. Everything is there. Then what we have now, and what we also have today available, is WebEx Customer Experience Standard and Premium. These are our WebEx Contact Center options or offers that are available today. People have been deploying them for more than a couple of years now. You get AI capabilities, automations, virtual agents, very robust reporting, WFO, WFM, all of those features are available on that side of things. But what you see is that there's a gap in the middle, or there was a gap in the middle that we're trying to fill. For a lot of customers, going to standard and premium is a little too much work in terms of management and implementation and cost. Whereas basic is a little too simplistic. While it does provide agent experience, the reporting functionality was not up to the mark for some customers. The supervisor experience was fairly limited for a lot of the customers. And then, there are other things that they are now looking at. Some of those customers do want multi-channel. They do want the capability to do more than just voice, but not at the level of what WebEx Contact Center offers. So that is where this new offer is coming in. It's called WebEx Customer Experience Essentials. It is for customer-facing teams primarily for any size, right? Now this could be, and when I say customer-facing, it could be also internal customers. So you could have an internal IT help desk, for example, that needs something like this, because for them, the customer is the employees of the company. But it's there for any customer-facing, team. We expect a lot of this to be where the agents are not full-time agents, but agents are knowledge workers that act as agents for certain scenarios. We expect a lot of those to fall into this. We do expect a lot of actual call centers to fall into this as well, who don't need all the rich functionality that comes in with WebEx Contact Center. Things that are better compared to basic as you move into essentials, the supervisor experience. And we're going to show some of that later on as well. Supervisor experience, agent screen pop-ups are available. There's a lot of reporting that we are doing here. We are starting off with just voice queues, but we expect to expand this into more omni-channel, multi-channel type functionality as we move in the next couple of quarters or more. And then the license from an offer perspective, I do want to point out, that when you see the pricing and everything, understand that the offer or the license includes the basic WebEx calling professional license as well. So that license is included in here. So you don't need a separate calling license for an essentials user. If you are essentials users, you have the calling license that comes with it. Moving on, we already talked about what this is, the details, like just trying to fill in the gap. Again, the GA is Q1. We expect it to be towards the end of February. We are already in beta. You'll see that later on. I'll flash that slide up, but we are already in beta. So we would love for you as partners to join the beta, as well as bring your customers along for beta. Customers who want to try this. It's also very good for any of your customers that were using group call management or basic at this time. If the customer already is using basic and they want these new functionality from a supervisor perspective, from reporting perspective, from screen pop-ups, sign them up for a beta and move over one or two of their queues over, probably or possibly, or just try it out and see what they're getting out of essentials is worth it or not for them. So what are the things that are changing now? There's been a lot of discussion back and forth. I do want to point one thing out, and this is not completely blessed in terms of whether we should even talk about this or not. But I hear a lot of discussion on, oh, is this based on WebEx calling platform or is this based on the WebEx contact center platform, right? I want to say this. This is based on the WebEx platform. I think we have, at this point, reached a position in Cisco collaboration where for us, WebEx is WebEx. There are no two platforms. We are very, very actively working on making sure that the contact center and the calling platform that exists separately today in some sense are merged together. That's very heavy work in progress for that. And for applications to be able to leverage services running on either this platform or that platform, independent of what platform they are based on. So this customer experience essentials is probably one of the first offers that is going to leverage features and services running on the calling side of things, as well as features and services that are running on the contact center side of things, to kind of create this vision of a WebEx platform delivered customer experience. Whether it comes from this side or that side of the code doesn't really matter. It's all in the WebEx cloud, it's all on the WebEx platform, and we will be leveraging services across the board to deliver this offer to you guys. And the first thing you will see there is that we are all going to come to Control Hub. WebEx Control Hub is the center point management interface for all WebEx, and that will be the case for customer experience essentials as well. If you look at from the left-hand side towards the bottom on the services, you will see that you have messaging, meetings, and calling. That's there today, and you have contact center. Customer experience is another service that is added there. And then it has its own configuration page, own reports, and everything available there. So you would still be able to use WebEx Control Hub for all management, all view into the analytics and everything to make sure that you're getting the best out of this, all under WebEx Control Hub. So that's one, right? Administrative experience. Then the agent experience is going to be in the WebEx application. Again, not a separate app or anything. The WebEx app will allow the customer or the agent to be able to take calls, answer calls, join queues, leave queues, do all the things that they need to do in terms of as their role for the agent in this queue. So, for example, a knowledge worker like myself could be part of some queues for something or the other, and I could be using the same WebEx application to do all my daily work as well as part of my agent services, right? I could be joining queues for certain times to answer questions from customers and stuff like that. So that's why, again, the WebEx platform matters, because this is all being delivered from the same set of applications and same set of services in the background. The screen pop-up for call queues, that's something new that is going to come in as part of Essentials, and that's really something that we wanted to call out. And I think later on in a few minutes, once I stop talking, Praveen is going to have a demo and he's going to show you guys some of that stuff. Supervisor experience, this is a big differentiation from where customer experience basic is today to where customer experience essentials is going to be. The supervisor experience is still in the WebEx application, so no separate app for it. WebEx application will give the supervisor the opportunity to go in have monitor the queues that they want to monitor, get on calls, barge into calls and those kind of things, silently monitor agents. They can do all of those things in there. They'll be able to see all the data and statistics and analytics for different queues that are running. So the whole supervisor experience is also going to be in the WebEx application. Again, this is in beta right now. So those of you who want to try it out and see what the experience looks like and everything, you can look at the demo later on in the call, but also join through gobeta.webex.com and see this all for yourselves. And then obviously analytics for any size of a call center, contact center, customer experience environment, analytics are the key, right? They're really, really important to make sure that you're getting the right customers, you're getting the right times, you are hitting the right number of agents at the right time. All those things are really important for this market segment. And that's why we have doing a lot of work in terms of making live queue stats available, agent stats, and general queue stats available for all of these. Again, all of this is going to be available in WebEx Control Hub as we move into GA. So having said that, I think 16, 17 minutes in, Praveen, are you ready for the demo?
Absolutely, Kashif. Sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
and Kashif, not to interrupt, but gobeta.webex.com, as you mentioned, but it's under WebEx Management Control Hub Administration. So I just wanted to make you guys aware, because it doesn't necessarily spell it out right on the page, but so just go there. Yeah.
Thanks, Jim, for that. Yes. So gobeta.webex.com, go under WebEx Management, and that's where you see this option coming up. Okay, with that, I'll hand over to Praveen, who's going to run. Praveen is our product manager, lead product manager in leading the customer experience essentials charge here. So he's going to show you guys a quick demo of these options.
Praveen, that's a drink thing, Kashif. If we say CX, we have to take a drink of some sort, like
yes. I didn't say CX. I said customer center. Right. But yes, that is really. Actually, I think that, Jim, that's a really good point. Again, sorry, Praveen, to delay this further, but again, we have a huge audience here, so I want to make sure that everyone understands. You will hear a lot of us say CX essentials once in a while, right? And the reason for that is that's what initially we were going to call this offer. But then we had all this discussion internally. CX to all Cisco customers and partners typically means Cisco services. So this was kind of leading us in the wrong direction. So I think at this point, decision was made to not call it CX essentials, but customer experience essentials. Now that is a mouthful. And all of us who have been involved in this project for a while, it's taking us some time to kind of get used to this new nomenclature. So you would hear us drop a CX essentials once in a while. So please forgive us for that. But for you guys, the partners and customers that you work with, keep it to customer experience essentials. I think that would be the best for everyone.
So if you see us say CX, you'll have to put $1 in the swear jar at this point. So yeah, we'll go from there. But Praveen, thanks a lot. It's your show right now.
Hey, thanks, Jim. Hey, thanks, Kashif. I think you set the stage right. Thanks for doing a great job at it. So what I expect to do over the next 15 to 20 minutes is to kind of show the power of the platform, right? Whether in terms of administration or looking at the personas of agent and supervisor and the people who need access to analytics and how the whole experience comes together. And that's a key part for us doing the customer experience essentials. So as Kashif rightly mentioned, the best part of doing it on a single platform is we get both UCaaS and CCaaS into single administration. We have a single place for agents and supervisors to look at, which is WebEx app. So let me start off and take a quick tour of how it can be set up. So the users that you're looking at who can be agents are no different than your WebEx users today, right? So they have been already licensed. They could be professional licensed users who are already using WebEx calling. And it takes no additional effort to get these users to be your agents. So they can be part-time agents. So some of them probably are knowledge workers who want to collaborate with customers and probably answer their questions. And some of them can be full-time agents, probably answering the calls and need a dedicated setup. So the best part of customer experience essentials is the same set of users you already have can be part of all types of personas. So for example, I'm showing you the list of users here who are already WebEx calling users. The licensing is just a click. So you go in, you can see that there's a new license type that would be visible, which is customer experience essentials. And again, one of the key aspects or dependencies for somebody to be licensed with Essentials is they need to be a professional, WebEx calling professional licensed user. However, as Kashif probably will talk about later in the slides, the offer and the ordering process which we have today for customer experience Essentials includes a WebEx calling professional license. So when you place an order for it, you would get a WebEx calling professional license. So that can be used to license a user. So once the user is licensed, he's all set. So let's take a quick look at what the experience in administration looks like. So once you have the licenses enabled, you'll start seeing a new tab, which is customer experience. And the start of it will show you a broad overview of your entire setup. So it would show you the list of licenses that you have access to, the number of licenses that are already assigned to users, how many of them are left. It gives easy cross-launch links into each of these configurations. For example, how to set up a queue, how do you want to set up your agents, how many of these are agents today operating in these call queues, what are these details, how would you want to manage your supervisor and agent associations. So everything is managed through a single portal. So some of you may be familiar with this because this CX basic and we have similar configurations. So what we wanted to do with this is not to sort of rebuild the experience. It's an easy experience that you can lean into. So when you're coming from CX basic, you find this largely familiar interface, but with added capabilities. So let me just walk you through a typical queue experience, right? So we are looking at an org which is Cumulus, which has 3 queues. One for sales, one for support, and one for a branch. You can see that the phone numbers associated with them are already the PSTN numbers that are associated to the org. So the queues can just have an extension or can be associated to a phone number. The creation of a queue is just a couple of minutes job. It wouldn't take you a lot, but it's very versatile and flexible as well at the same time. So for example, some of the options you look at here, the call routing type, for example, we have 2 types which we support. There's priority based, there's skills based. So depending on the skill levels of agents, you might want to choose which option you want to go to. And it's as simple as to set up in a couple of clicks. So typically a business grows into size, right? So for example, you may want to start off with a small contact center where there are few agents who are picking up customer calls. But as the business grows, the needs grow. And at that point of time, you want probably a lot more flexibility on how you want to operate your call center, whether it's in terms of day service, night service, what sort of policies you want to apply. So you can easily grow into that. So there's a bunch of queue policies you can apply here. There's holiday service, night service, standard calls, very flexible. And at the same time, you want to have like an enriched experience to agents. For example, an agent picking up the call might need better context into who's the customer calling in, or probably need to cross-launch of some information in from a CRM portal. You can pretty much do that now. So there's a screen pop option we provide for you that. And the screen pop URL can be configured at a call queue level. You can put in the URL. However, you can also have a certain parameterized variables that you can substitute into the URL. For example, I can use the agent name, the DNIS, ANI, the caller ID, or any of the bunch of parameters from the call that can be used to look up information. So this provides like an easy path for agents to launch into a call. So they are well prepared, they know the information, and it's easier for them to answer the call. At the same time, there are really powerful features on the queue we support. For example, there's callback. So customers probably who are having higher wait times can choose to have a callback. So you have looked at all the information coming together in terms of settings, queue policies, the very customizable queue settings from terms of agents, routing policies. But equally important is the information we get out of this. So we have really powerful analytics that we have built. And the same is available from analytics. You can see a new tab, customer experience, and that presents you the whole information, both from a perspective of call queue as well as an agent. So you can, as an administrator, look at the entire call centers of the org, figure out what key KPIs are being met, which are not, and you can deep dive into each of these. So probably you want to look at the average call queue time or incoming calls and trends over a period of time. So really, really powerful and easy to consume metrics are available in the analytics for you. And that applies to agent stats as well, not just a call queue. So on the agent levels, you can look at broader information, but you can also deep dive into specifics of agents, how your agents are doing by talk time, by hold time. So this gives you like a really actionable insight, whether you want to manage your queues better or staff your agents better, everything at one place. So that's pretty much about the administration part. So let me talk you through the experience from an agent and a supervisor perspective. So let's start off with an agent. The first thing you'll really notice when you log in as an agent and is licensed with Customer Experience Essentials is there's a new tab that shows up. Again, like I mentioned earlier, this experience is not something that's distributed across multiple platforms or the need to launch an external browser. They don't have to go to multiple places. The users of WebEx calling are already using WebEx app. You have the feature built right in. And you click on the left nav, the first thing that shows up is the agent to consume the information in real time. So the top panel shows the amount of calls that are coming from all the queues that the agent is part of. So for example, you can look at, there are 4 queues the agent is currently part of. So at a glance, you know that there are 3 agents, for example, manning this queue, out of which 1 agent is staffed, 1 is unavailable. And similarly for each of the call queues that an agent is part of. And the top panel shows you the real-time information of all the call queues. So you know that there's a call incoming in from a specific call queue, how many calls are there, and this empowers the agent to make the decisions in real time. For example, if one of the calls is probably showing a spike, he has the options to join or unjoin from this call queue, and all of that are inbuilt into the app. And all the powerful features which we have to manage the availability or join or unjoin from the queue are extended. So which means that the agent can easily manage himself to join or unjoin out of call queues or set his availability through the day pickup calls. So everything is really easy and simple to manage. So let's take a quick call and see the screen pop experience, how it looks like. So let me make a sample call. So the call's made, it will show up. So you can see that the reason the call's not showing up is because the agent is signed out. So at the start of the day, he signs in, he sets himself as available, at which point of time he'll start seeing the calls from the call queue. So you can see that there's a call made. You can see a powerful panel, which is the multi-call window, which is a really powerful concept on WebEx app for multitasking. So agent can start using this panel to manage his availability, join and join queues, and also pick up the calls. And you'll see that once the agent answers the call, it launches the screen pop. So the agent has relevant information. Probably this is a sales related page where he gets all his products information. And if it needs substitution on specific parameters, that gets substituted in the URL to pull up the right information. So this is kind of a sneak preview into how an agent experience would look like. So let me cross launch into the supervisor experience and show how that journey looks like for a supervisor. Let me bring that up. So this is the supervisor experience. Again, no different than an experience from an agent in terms of where to access it from. There's a left nav that shows customer experience, and he has details and access to multiple sets of data on agents and queues. To start off with, the first tab here, the supervisor can start looking at is the agents monitoring. Supervisor association to agents happens in Control Hub. Most of you are familiar on how to do that. It's a really simple process. An agent or a user who's already a WebEx calling user can be a supervisor, and he can be associated to a list of agents. So all the agents listed to the supervisor automatically shows up in the dashboard. Not only that, the agent status and the call status is readily visible to the supervisor at any point of time. So for example, here the supervisor is associated to 2 agents. One is agent 1 and agent 2. You can look at a glance that the agent 1 status is available. The state duration in availability state is probably a couple of minutes. He knows that currently the agent is not on a call. There's a second agent who's unavailable. This is the agent state duration. So this gives him a perspective of what agents are doing at any point of time, and a chance to manage them if required. If they need to be staffed differently or their status has to be different, those can be done. Let's take a quick look at the monitoring capability a supervisor can launch into for an agent. So there's a call that gets picked up by an agent. You can see that the status of the agent gets changed. Now the call is connected. Supervisor knows that the call came in from a cumulus queue. Amount of time a customer has been on the call is for 10 seconds. What it also gives is contextual tools to manage the call of the agent and also help him out if required. So for example, if a supervisor is looking at it and needs to silently monitor the call, all he needs to do is a single click. So that launches monitoring for this agent's call. And right now the supervisor is monitoring the call. He can listen into the conversation, silently monitor it. If this call requires any additional help, there are contextual tools for the supervisor here to manage it better. For example, he can chat with the agent, give him any advice that's required to manage the call better, and so on and so forth. The other tools that are really important and that is provided for the supervisor is to manage the agent status and join unjoin. For example, agent is part of multiple queues, but probably is not joined in all of the queues to start with. There's an easy way supervisor can set that right. So you can see that agent 1 is part of 4 queues, is not part of the support queue, but the supervisor wants an agent to be. All it takes is a click. So the agent is part of the additional queue now. He starts taking the traffic from that, and he can answer the calls, and the traffic is distributed right. And for example, if the supervisor wants to change the status of an agent, that's even simpler as well. So for example, the agent 2 here is unavailable, but this status has to be changed. All it takes is a couple of clicks. The state of the agent is changed. This agent is available to pick up calls now. You can see the power of the platform, right? I mean, anything that a supervisor needs to manage the agents is just in there and at the right time. So let me quickly also show the capabilities in terms of how do we assess an agent's productivity in terms of accessing analytics. There's a corresponding tab under agents which shows the agent analytics, then the statistics. Let's give a minute. So what you can see is the KPIs and analytics that a supervisor requires to analyze an agent's performance right therein for him. So at the top are the key KPIs. So it shows you at a glance, for example, some of the metrics are really doing good. So compared to the past week, this week's KPIs are up. You can see all of those in green, the key ones that the supervisor needs to monitor. However, some of them probably needs correction. So a supervisor can do a deep dive into all of the statistics, look at it from a agent perspective and drill down into a specific agent where it needs improvement, make corrective actions. So for example, it shows the inbound connected time by the agents that are split up, the average hold time by the agents. So if a supervisor needs to look at a specific agent's information, all he does is a click and filter the data, and he would get specific details of those agents and what's the number of calls they picked up, which queues are they answering it, what's the whole time look like over a period of time. So everything at a simple glance. Let me quickly switch gears a little bit. So we also have supervisor monitoring the queues, which means that the agents that are managed by a supervisor has a bunch of queues associated. All the queues would automatically appear for a supervisor to manage from a call perspective. So on the top panel, again, as we have seen with agent have access to, the supervisor have access to all call queues information in real time. He can manage the traffic. He can monitor which of them are spikes and manage the agent status using the join, unjoin, or availability status that have been set in the previous screen to kind of do the right sizing accordingly in all the call queues. We also have historical information on the call queues, which gives a roll-up of all the call queues that the agents are participating for a supervisor. Again, neat little KPIs that gives all the trends required. What are the calls coming look like over weekly, daily, monthly, and I think the rest that needs to be drilled down for each of the call queue are just right there. So from an overall information perspective, is information rich. It helps supervisor to get real-time information, make real-time decisions, and also manage the productivity of queues and agents. So it's just about right, no information overload. The key KPIs that are required are there. It's easy to manage, easy to administer, get the right information, use the right tools just from within the apps which are easily available. Yeah, so that probably concludes the demo. And Kashif, if you want to take over and close it.
Yes, thank you, Praveen. Okay, so I know there have been a lot of questions that we are trying to get to. There are a couple of questions, Praveen, that if we can answer live, because we haven't been able to get to those answers yet, and then we'll move on to kind of, these are more technical demo related questions, and then we can move on to the next part of it. So the one question here is, what are the max agents supported on these offerings? GCM was billed as limited to X number of queues, X amount of agents, nothing about this offer. So what are the limits that we have as part of WebEx Customer Experience Essentials?
Yeah, more than limits, I think from a guidance perspective, what we suggest to our customers is CX Basic, given the tools and the functionality available, is the best suited for up to 50 agents. However, CX Essentials, given the manageability and the additional features we are adding, it can go up to 500 agents. So that's the guidance.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Praveen, for that. So one other question that I was hoping if you can answer, does the supervisor experience automatically selects the queues that are assigned to the supervisor? So like once you set up a supervisor and say, these are the queues that they can monitor, I'm assuming when they log into the WebEx app, they get information for the same queues. So kind of official, automatically. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's not even that complicated. So all we have to do from a supervisor agent perspective is associate a list of agents to supervisor. The software would automatically figure out which agents are part of what call queues, and those call queues would show up. You don't even have to associate supervisor to a call queue.
Perfect. That's great. And then we have okay, so about the refresh times on the analytics. Right now, the live view info in supervisor and agent view is about 30 seconds behind. When GA, what's the expected delay? Will it truly be live real time, or 30-second delay is what it's going to be?
Yeah, we are trying to optimize the delays to be much lower. Again, the specifics of the refresh intervals we would be able to confirm by GA timeframe, but this is definitely on the radar. We want to optimize this so that we see more closer to real-time information. That's what I can share.
Okay, and then one feedback on that, Praveen, is at least from Dan Farrell, who asked this question, is that a 30-second delay won't suffice for most customers. So just as you understand that, we really need to kind of figure out ways to reduce that from 30 seconds to as close to real time as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for the feedback. We really are aware of that and trying to optimize it.
Okay. So with that, there is our agent states customizable.
No, not customizable. There are a fixed set of availability statuses that are there for an agent, which is available, unavailable, wrap up, sign in and sign out. So these are the 5 states.
Okay, perfect. Will the fields such as agent state duration, time duration be available within analytics and reports?
So analytics are more like a roll-up information. So we have summary data that's part of the analytics. We clearly call out the list of metrics, how they are captured in all the help documentation. So I think offline, maybe post this we can share. There's more real-time information related ones that will show up for agents and queues. Okay,
so yeah, thank you very much. So now, well, all of a sudden, a lot of new questions popped up. So what we can go back to those questions, and I know there's one other question that we prefer to kind of answer on the call. And Jonathan Bach, that's your question. We're not trying to ignore your question. We will definitely answer that. I just want to share a couple of slides first, to kind of finish this off, and then we'll answer some more questions, right? So if you guys want to put in more questions, feel free to do that. In the meanwhile, I just wanted to say show a couple of slides on from an orderability perspective, pricing, and a little bit of what's next, or what's the action that we are asking you guys as our partners to help us with. So from an offer detail perspective, this is going to be under A-Flex 3. It's actually also available as part of the calling EA. So both A-Flex 3, it is going to be an option. There's a PID. You can see the PID there on the right hand side in the screenshot. You can see that under other packages, it will be customer experience. You have the option to say essentials, yes, and then quantity, you can add the number of licenses that you need. I think there was a Q&A as well. on who needs what type of license. So we have only one type of essentials license, which is customer experience essentials. All agents and all supervisors in an environment that are part of an essentials queue are going to need that license. So it's the same license. There's not a separate agent versus supervisor license. Both agents and supervisors will need the same license. The list price on the license is going to be $60. We expect the CSRP as a Cisco suggested retail price to be around $30 in the promotion period of FY24. So that's the next 6 months until the end of July. The CSRP for $30 to the customers, which means that transfer price to the partners will probably be around $24 or so, giving you guys a 20% margin on it. Again, as I said before, the license includes the WebEx calling professional license. So you don't need a separate calling license for that particular user who is a essentials user. When we go GA in towards the end of February, any customer, for example, who is already using, let's say there's a customer that's using GCM today, what we call basic. If they're using that today and they have 50 agents on group call management, but they want to move over to essentials, the way for you guys to do that modification is to go into their subscription, take out 50 calling professional licenses or reduce that number by 50 and increase that number in essentials. So they get the calling license with it. So you don't want additional 50 calling licenses. You basically reduce the number of calling licenses and then you add that number to the essentials license. And that way your calling licenses stay the same. And 50 of the agents now have agents/supervisors now have a essentials license as well. Now, there was also a question that I would like to address here in terms of basic and essentials being able to be in the same environment. Yes, we do expect that a lot of customers might need some queues to be basic. They don't want supervisor level usage for them, so they stay on basic. There are other queues that want supervisor and agent experience and screen pop-ups and stuff like that. They move those queues over to essentials, right? The agent, now if there's one agent who is both in an essentials queue as well as in a basic queue, they will need an essentials license. But if there's an agent who is only in basic queues, they don't need an essentials license. Similarly, if there's a supervisor who is managing a basic queue using fact codes and stuff like that, they don't need an essentials license. But if that supervisor also is managing some essentials queues, they will need an essentials license. So that's how, essentials license, if you're doing anything on the essentials queue, either an agent or supervisor, you need that license, okay? So that's how we are setting this up. Now, before we go to the Q&As back, call to action, as we've talked about before on the call a couple of times, go beta. Beta is ready, it's running for about 4 or 5 weeks now. So go beta.webex.com under WebEx management options, you will see this. Go sign up for your own use, understanding, learning, as well as sign up your customers for it. There are some links to all these links that you see here, 4 or 5 of them are available on Sales Connect. There's a partner-facing, customer-facing deck. There is an ebook. There's an at a glance, a couple of pages of real quickly what Essentials is, and there's an FAQ. Now, I would say this. The first 2 links, the offer overview decks, we are going to revise them as we get into GA. There's going to be a lot more information coming in those. Similarly, the FAQ, we're going to add more information into the FAQ as we get closer to GA. But the current information there is also accurate, and you can go look at those as well. And then I would say this: we are like 23rd of January right now. This is still about 4 weeks away, GA. For 4 weeks, you don't have to wait. If you have a customer that wants contact center and you feel that they need it now, we already have 2 options available for them, or 3 options. We have the basic to get them started if that's where they fall, and we have WebEx Contact Center with the standard and premium offers. So you don't have to wait for anything. Those 2 offers are still there. So our customer experience portfolio already has 3 of the 4 offers that it's going to have. So sell those 3 offers while this one comes in, okay? And in the meanwhile, learn about this offer using the available resource and the beta process and the beta option that we have available. So having said that, that's basically the end of the presentation. We still have about 14 minutes to answer some questions. For Q&A, we also have Ho Bao, who is a director in product management. He holds the customer experience portfolio as part of his charter. So I am going to go back in and start looking at, if I can find the window, start looking at some of the questions that came in. So let's start with the important one. Question there was a question on what is the migration path for a customer that starts off with Essentials but feel at some point that they have to move over to standard, WebEx Customer Experience Standard. So what would be the migration path for them?
Yeah, so we're definitely providing a matrix on all the features, comparison across different portfolio. There's some questions available on that. And based on those metrics, we will hoping the sales and account team can actually look at those and reposition the right customer the role for the different offer. So what we believe in for the customer experience essentials are focused more on the edge, where like a knowledge worker or the employees can easily help become agents. And so the workflow in there are more focused on the kind of different kind of market segments or the deployment model than the full-time agents in the standard and premium side. The feature set will be quite different, like the advanced routing from the essential experience will be different than the advanced routing in the standard and premium. So we don't believe initially the focus is going to be a transition and a migration and experience. So our focus is more to deliver the right set of capabilities for the different market segments in there. So hopefully you can review those and understand it clearly on the capability offer for each of the tier and position appropriately, right? So hopefully that can help with that questions there. We'd love to hear
Thank you very
your
much,
feedback on
Ko.
that.
I think what's really important is for people to understand that the use cases are going to be quite different. Now, yes, there's always a chance that a customer starts to figure out, oh, I need more AI capabilities that are not included as part of Essentials. So at that point, they have to move. Those will always be the case. But also our philosophy here is that we will continue to explore these as we move forward, right? So what we have today is not what we're going to have a year from now or 2 years from now. So things are going to change from the perspective of offers and how they migrate. I expect that as platforms come together, a lot of those options are going to be more available to you guys. But we also have to be very sure that the use cases are going to be significantly different, we feel, in the market. Okay, so with that, there are a few more questions. So there's a question around bring your own PSTN, Cisco calling plans, and partner like IntelliPay and all. So this offer at this point at least will be able to use the same calling options or PSTN options that are available for WebEx calling. We are exploring with some of the third-party partners like IntelliPay to kind of make sure that they are okay with this. But at this point, it looks like the PSTN options that we have available today for WebEx calling are going to apply as it is to WebEx contacts and customer experience essentials, just like they do today for group call management or basic. So the same thing applies, because you look at it really from a calling perspective, it is the same as basic. The functionality changes are more around what you can do with those calls with supervisor experience and analytics and screen pop-ups, not really the calls themselves. Okay, so there's another question. Do we have a slide providing further offer details on how this will work into calling EA instead of name user? Will this just be another calling EA user type? So Brett, I will get back to you on this. I'll take a note of this question and I'll get back to you with more details on how this is going to work with calling EA. My understanding today is that it will be an option in the calling EA, just like as it is in A-Flex. And you can go add it in and pay for it, and including the price and all that stuff. But I will get back to you with more details. Question for you, Mark or Juan. Do you guys, when you at the end of the call, we're going to get the Q&As, right?
Yes.
Do they come with the name of the person who asked the question, or do I need to take a note of that? Okay, let me just take a note of Brett's.
I believe they do, Kasha. Yeah, I believe they do.
Cool. Okay, then moving further on. So the license is applied at the queue level. That license is applied not at the queue level, it's applied at the, well, you can say it's applied at the queue level because there are different types of queues for essentials and basic. So yes, but the license is not for queue. The license is for the agent or the supervisor that is part of the queue. So it's still not a queue license. And so if a queue has 8 agents and 1 supervisor, you need 9 essential licenses for that queue to run. Now the same agents and supervisor could be managing other queues as well, right? But from a basic perspective, yes, if it's a basic queue, anybody in the basic queue doesn't need the license. Anybody in the essentials queue needs the license. The question on, are there any plans to add essentials under A-Flex 3 contact center? At this point, no, there are no plans to do that. Again, we feel that the market segmentation and the use cases are fairly different. So at this point, there is no plan to add A- or essentials as part of the contact center offer. With essentials offer, will any basic self-service will be available, or is that going to require?
WebEx contact center is what they mean, Kash. In other words, IVR, like doing IVR for self-service.
Oh, that is part of the future that we are looking at. Conversational IVRs and all that. Yes. We don't have a dated timestamp on when that is going to be delivered. But what we are doing right now is, after this, we are looking at a 6 to 9 month roadmap to see what are the fast follow items and what are 6 months late items. So we are working on those. More details we can share with partners as we move forward.
And just to add real quickly, because Sylvie Kashyap mentions that we're working through leveraging the WebEx platform. So a lot of capability that already exists in the WebEx platform, either through the WebEx Connect or WebEx Contact Center, will be definitely leveraged to this WebEx customer experience essentials. And the digital channels and conversation IVR is one of those services that already being taken advantage on the contact center, and those will be available to the essential as well. And like Kashyap also mentioned on the Q&A, it's all depending on what pricing tier and what capability we've exposed. Is all depending on the pricing and the licensing there.
So great point. One thing that I want to say is, while we were talking about this session last week, I was hoping to put together a quick survey to ask the audience here on what they would prefer to be the fast forward. How would they prioritize the follow-on items? Me being very lazy, I was not able to put that Slido in at the time, but I'm thinking maybe we can put an offline Slido poll and send it to this audience via email or something. And if you guys can take the time to respond to that, I think that would be great. That will help us figure out how to prioritize the next upcoming options. So I will take the action. Jim, you want to say something?
Yeah, well, I was. Besides that, within the WebEx beta, guys, there's feedback links. So give us some feedback about what's missing. So that would be a great way to do that, because we are collecting that feedback.
Yeah, I think that's great. Any one of you who was on beta today can go do that. If you want to join beta, you can join beta and do that. And yes, definitely from the feedback perspective, let us know what are the next 2 top items or features that you would like to see as part of the Essentials offer. Okay, is there a black belt path for customer experience? I would not.
I'm answering that. So that's black belt training. So basically, we don't have it today, but that's something we can take back to the people that run that program.
Perfect. I think with that, we have pretty much answered all. Okay, I answered this.
FedRAMP, that's a question. So FedRAMP. Okay, so Ho's like, I got this. Let's do it here. Okay.
Yes, so I said too quickly. Yes, on the FedRAMP, it will be available, and we're evaluating right now when the timing for that. But we do have full intentions to support FedRAMP for customer experience essential.
Perfect. Also, there's a question around, will there be positioning metrics for basic essentials and WebEx Contact Center? Definitely, yes. We are working on a feature comparison metrics, kind of like said, this is what your customer wants. This is the offer you should go for. That is in the works. And before GA or at GA, you should expect that to be part of the updated set of documents that come out on Sales Connect.
Did we already answer the one about customizable reports and analytics, guys? I've been looking
I don't
at this.
think so. I don't think we did. I think we missed that one as well. So yes, I don't think there are any customizable reports that are available as part of that. There's always all our analytics that we have in Control Hub is exportable via Excels and other mechanisms, so people can leverage that to create whatever reports they want to create. But we don't have any customizable reports as part of this offer.
Okay.
And any additional like reportings that you request us to actually add it into Essential, please let us know through Q&A or Slido. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Again, so there's another question by Darcy as well about online training. It kind of falls into the same category as a black belt. So we should definitely look at that. I think there's some exploration being done in terms of what's the best platform to provide that online training option, and how do we get the content ready and everything. So yeah. Keep tuned for more options or more information coming.
Team, do you guys see anything else that's kind of like Juan, Mark? Do you guys see anything else that hasn't really been answered by anybody at this point? Are we not making them do work actually, Kashif? So it's like, yeah, multitasking.
Well, the last question, the really important one. Is this covered by CSAS specialization to resell, or will there be another authorization needed? No new authorization needed. If you can sell WebEx Suite today, you can sell this today. Well, not today, but when it GAs, yes.
Hey, Kash, I think there's a question about Setup Assist, which is formalized for WebEx CC.
Yes.
Do you want to address that?
I can answer that. Yeah, I think I answered that there as well, but that's a good one to kind of... No, but that's a good one for the general public, right? So WebEx Setup Assist, we have two options today. We have a calling side Setup Assist and we have a contact center side Setup Assist. This will be included as part of the WebEx calling side Setup Assist. So if you buy, if you have a subscription where you have Essentials and you have a WebEx Setup Assist, the WebEx Setup Assist team will cover the Essentials queues and configuration and everything, just like what they do today with group call management or customer experience basic. They will do the same. Okay, I think we
Did you cover the one about Rona? Bring on no answer.
Yeah, so the answer to that is taken. I have noted the name and we will respond in terms of what are we going to do with it. Yes, the good thing, I want to really thank the person, I'm forgetting the name, in terms of, hey, putting in the absolutely the right and the best way to put that request in so we can track it and we can answer you on that.
And that to add on to that is a popular request that we just have many customers asking for that feedback, and we take this into definitely high priority considerations. And that is something that we work through at one of the top fast follow features.
So with 1 minute left, last question, late one coming in from Morgan. Is support from partner required, or do they need to make sure and position solution support for CXE? They do not require to add solution support. Just like any other subscription offer we have at this point, support for partner is not required. But really, Mr. Partner, if that's your customer, you probably want to support them. You want to have some options. So we're not looking, this is going to be done, this is going to be tackled with Cisco tax support. So tax support is going to be there for this option. They don't need any additional support or require support, but if they want to buy more support to do more, sure, you can add that in. It's tax supported, just the way any other calling solution that we have today. Okay, with that, I think we are set to close. Jim?
We're at time. I'm not going to do any kind of like big closing at this point, but thank you all for attending. We had a really great session today. More to come. Just know that we've got more that we're going to be delivering to you on customer experience essentials. I didn't say it, guys. I didn't have to put the dollar in the jar. So thank you again. The recording is going to be posted on the Voice of the Account Manager community page, which you can get through that community page that I showed at the beginning of the call. So thank you again, guys, for your time, and have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.